So I bit the bullet. I finally got sick of it enough to where I just had to do something. Because the things I was doing was just not working. Brand new tank, brand new sand, brand new heater. Granted, the light doesn't need to be changed. The lid was thoroughly scrubbed with very hot water. Nothing was on the lid anyway. And the sponge filter is being reused, but everything involving the sponge filter was boiled several times. If it's going to survive 100 degrees Celsius, then they win. But theoretically, everything is as fresh as it's going to be. I could have gotten a new filter, but that'd be waiting several weeks. You know, I hate having to do this. It is annoying. It's not that expensive to change out the tank when you got all the rest of the equipment. The tank is like $15 when it's not on sale. At Petco, sometimes they got the $1 per gallon sale, and it's $10 for a new tank. And then sand is like $6. And honestly, okay, for like $16, that is less than the cost of medicating the tank and trying to kill everything and deal with the aftermath of that. It just makes more sense to start fresh, start anew, and just go that route. Because I can't deal with these snails anymore, and I'm going to be very, very careful. And if this works out well enough, I'll probably end up doing it with several of my tanks. Because pest snails are just as the name suggests. They are pests. I can't deal with it, man. So, new tank, new sand, boiled the crud out of the sponge, new heater, yada yada yada. All should be well and good once the tank is cycled. And once it is cycled, I won't put any shrimp in it. I won't put anything in it right away except for some frog bit. Before I attempt to put anything back in this tank, it is going to have frog bit all over the top to suck up nitrates like a mofo. That is the way I've decided to do this. You know, as they say, before anything else, you keep water before you keep shrimp. You keep water before you keep fish. And you gotta keep your water just right. Otherwise, the things you put in the water ain't gonna be happy. That is really what you do as an aquarist. You keep water, there just happens to be things in the water. So, that has been my project for the day today, and so far, it's going okay. You know, it's gonna take a while to cycle, obviously. It takes about a month, maybe less if I got the heat cranked up. I still have some C-Chem stability left over, so I put some of that in the tank with some ammonia. You know, I do fishless cycles, just so you know. I don't ever use a fish. There's no need to use a fish anymore. It's not even about cruelty. It's just the fact that fishless is so much faster, so much easier to control, and so much more scientific. You're able to measure everything and get very predictable results. So there's no need to do a fish-based cycle. So, now the old tank, if you come with me, swing it around. Old tank's down here. You might be wondering what I'm going to do with it. Here's the idea. I'm going to clean it up real nice, use just a little bit of white vinegar, and that gets the glass nice and clean. I'm going to take the sand, I'm going to boil the sand outside with my induction cooker, which, by the way, that is the most awesome use of an induction cooker, is boiling the sand outside, because boiling sand gets really stinky, because there's things in the sand. So being able to just have a portable induction cooker, just take it outside, boil it out there, make it nice and sterile. What I'm going to do is I just consider it, you know what, put it on OfferUp, and if someone wants to buy the tank at a discount, I'll probably sell the tank for, I don't know, $8 with the sand. And that covers maybe half of what I paid for the new tank, you know? So, you know, it's a way to get a little money back. Someone gets, you know, a clean tank, and they get to start out a little cheaper than what they would if they had to go to the pet store and buy new. Tank's in good condition. It's just the fact that I can't guarantee that you might not have, or that I can't guarantee that you won't have a random snail here and there. Although if you get a puffer fish or a cichlid or a goldfish, what have you, they'll eat the snails, and then you'll just be better off with it. But for me, my purpose, it doesn't work. So it's not an entire loss. It's just, you know, a little more money than I really wish to spend, but it's less expensive. And I weighed the options. All right, so I went and I thought about it. I'm like, well, I could get some saltwater aquarium salt and go beyond saltwater, just go straight brine. And that should kill everything, and that washes away pretty easily. I could go with copper, but I definitely would never recommend copper if you're doing a shrimp tank, because when you get copper in your system, man, it's impossible to get out in any reasonable amount of time. It gets stuck in everything, and it just doesn't come out, and it'll become that thing that you'll never get rid of that's, for some reason, like anomalous, killing all your shrimps, and you just don't want that. You know, in a previous video, I brought the water temperature up to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. That did not kill any of the snails that were in egg form, because I saw snails crawling around a few days afterwards. I'm like, you know, I thought about Gastropex. The problem is Gastropex isn't natively sold in the United States. I would have to order it from another country. And after shipping and all that, that comes out to be the same price as just buying a new tank. So that didn't really seem worth it to me. I mean, okay, if I was trying to clear the pest snails out of my 40 breeder, yeah, then Gastropex makes more sense, because it would kill 90% of the Malaysian trumpet snails. But the problem with killing a snail is the same problem I had before. It releases a ton of ammonia, which then converts it into nitrate. And at least it's nitrate, not ammonia, but holy sweet mother of mercy, you're going to get everything killed. Like, when things spike that hard, with that many snails, and nothing eating the snail carcasses, well, what are you going to do? You know, and then people say, oh, assassin snails. And I'm like, no, assassin snails do not eat fast enough to wipe out the kind of colonies that I've got. And yes, assassin snails can be picky about the type of snails that they eat. People said, well, just don't feed. And I'm like, they have survived in my toilet, okay? That toilet over there, which is just there because that's how the house came. Okay, I used to use that as a drainage point for my tanks. There were bladder snails that lived in the toilet with no light or food for months on end. How are you going to tell me that a snail that can survive in a toilet bowl is not going to survive or reproduce given the opportunity in a fully cycled, well-maintained tank? They're just going to eat biofilm and algae all day, and that's enough for them to lay eggs. So the don't feed option really doesn't work in my case. I've never seen it work. It starves everything else, but not these little buggers. So yeah, I started over on one of my tanks. I might as well just start over on a bunch of the tanks. I'm going to do one at a time and see what happens. Wish me luck.